Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video we show you how to replace the headlights. You'll want to replace them if you have a broken headlight, or replacing them is the best way to cure the faded and clouded headlights. You can try polishing them, but that usually is only a coat of wax basically, and it lasts about a month. Tools you'll need are a flat blade screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, 8 to 10 millimeter sockets with a ratchet, and you'll need some specific extensions for your socket and ratchet, 1, 3, and 5 inch extensions. Okay, here's a shot of our Altima before, a fairly decent looking car, but you notice here after, new headlights, they really brighten up that front end, make it look a lot fresher and newer. On our vehicle, our front bumper cover was actually just barely hanging on with 2 bolts, so we're kind of going to give you an idea of how to get the bumper cover off, but the instructions may not be exact. Just kind of use them as a kind of a general guideline.
Start out by opening up the hood, and there'll be some fasteners back in here. And you can see this car has been apart a couple times, obviously, and a lot of stuff's been lost. But most likely these are a style of fastener that's plastic. You pull up the middle and then pull the fastener out. The other possibility is that there's clips with bolts here. Okay, but you want to remove these 3 fasteners. There may also be a fastener here as well. Okay, now underneath there'll be a series of fasteners. On this vehicle, they're Phillips screws, but I really don't think that that's correct. It's probably 10 millimeter bolts, and you can actually see that this thing is, they're not even holding on to anything. But you would want to remove probably 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, these aren't even holding on to everything because everything's so broken on this vehicle. 6, 7, and 8. Okay, and then after you've gotten those done, looks like about the only thing holding the front bumper cover on this vehicle is these 2 bolts. There's a bolt here on this side, looks like about a 10 millimeter. Again, not sure if that's correct, but it looks correct. So there's a bolt there, 10 millimeters, and then over on the other side, and you can see again, this car is seen a rough life because there's no inner fender here. There's also a bolt here that's 10 millimeters, so I'll remove those.
And I'll fast forward it here as I'll use a 1/4 inch drive, ratchet, an extension, and a 10 millimeter socket, and remove those bolts. Okay, and obviously I have the car up on a lift, not totally necessary, just makes it a lot easier to film and makes it a little easier to get it apart. But then lift the bumper cover up and off, and you kind of have to tilt it up and forward. That's just a piece of styrofoam that fell out. You'll reinstall that later.
Okay, the headlights are held in by a series of fasteners. There's a bolt right here. Okay, and then there's a nut right down there, as well as another nut right up in there. Okay, and then there's another nut right up in here.
For the first bolt underneath, I use both the 5 and the 3 inch extensions, kind of make a long 8 inch extension, and that way you can go in kind of from the fender well area. You might have to push aside your inner fender, and you can get that nut out. That's the easiest way. Okay, and I'm going to try and coat those, the back of the bolt and the nuts, with some penetrating oil. This is a New England car, so actually 2 of the studs end up breaking off, which is okay because the new lights come with new studs and new hardware. And obviously the first bolt, pretty straightforward, right on top, 10 millimeter socket with your ratchet and extension, and remove that. It's possible this bolt could break. If it does, that's not the worst thing in the world. You can put the light back together with just the 3 nuts and it will hold secure. Okay, for the top nut On the inside, you need a 1-inch extension, and on this vehicle, it just breaks right off. Actually, they broke off on both sides, and actually the lower ones broke off as well. And on this lower nut, you basically want to take your AC hose, push it down out of the way, and then keep pressure on it. It kind of gets in the way a little bit. Get the socket, ratchet, and extension on there, and again, this one ends up breaking, which again, it's not the worst thing in the world because the new lights come with new studs and nuts.
Breaks off. Okay. Pull the light out some. There's a tab right on top where you can twist this bulb counterclockwise. Pull it out some. Okay, here's your headlight. Unplug that. Twist this one counterclockwise. Pull it out. Okay, and then twist this one over here counterclockwise and pull it out. Light from one out. It's a whole lot nicer than the old one. We're going to just kind of peel back a little bit of this plastic here and reinsert all our lights. Good time to check the bulbs and make sure they're all working correctly. We plug our headlight in. This light over here goes on the side. And just kind of look these in there, that's going in the right place. We'll start this bolt on where it goes. Let's see. Under here. Okay, then we got two new M6 bolts in here.
And carefully start those nuts on. You probably want to put them into the socket in the extension first, get them on, go by hand, and then tighten them up nice and firm. And then repeat the process for the other side.
Okay, so what I've done is I put some clips on here. Most likely what these things had was actually plastic pins that went down and locked in, but I don't have any of those available, so what I did is I put some clips on that then you can bolt. They have a nut on the other side and you can bolt a bolt into them, and that's what I'll use to hold this on. There was nothing holding on before, so that'll be a lot better than it was.
Okay, so I've put the styrofoam back on, used some painter's tape to hold it in place. Put the bumper cover into place, and then you have to get the grill. The grill, there's little ears on the sides of the grill that has to go under the headlights. And what you actually do, there's metal brackets. Just bend those metal brackets down. And then get the grill in behind, and then you can pull the metal brackets back up, and then from there on out, start in the 2 bolts behind the grill, and then the 2 bolts that are on each side, and then use your tools, your socket and ratchet, to tighten those up.
Okay, make sure that you push your inner fender back in, and then on our vehicle, none of these fasteners make any difference, but make sure you put all the fasteners back in the bottom that you took out.
And once it's all back together, then here's what a new set of lights can do for you. Here's the before and the after. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.1aauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.